Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I just got back from the new film Ruby Sparks. Now, Ruby Sparks is the new film from Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris. They are the directors of Little Miss Sunshine. It is their first film since Little Miss Sunshine. A writer, played by Paul Dano, wrote an incredible book when he was very young, and it became a very big deal, and everyone read it, but it was 10 years ago, and he hasn't really had a big hit, a big cultural landmark kind of book like that original book. And he's depressed, and he's alone, and he mostly stays in his house, doesn't have a girlfriend, and he's seeing a therapist, who is played by Elliot Gould, and his therapist suggests he writes something, even if it's bad, and then he starts writing about this girl, Ruby Sparks, who he has dreams about, and he writes about her, and he shows the book to people, and he really likes what he's writing. He's really writing a lot of pages, and he hasn't been this inspired in years. And then one day he wakes up after writing tons and tons of stuff about Ruby, and she is there in his kitchen asking, like, I missed you in bed last night. And he was like, what? Because you're in a book. And so she comes to life, and he takes him a while to realize if it's real or if he's going crazy. And once he finds out it's real, he realizes anything he types in his typewriter she will do. Like, or him and his brother kind of figure this out. So like if they put in Ruby speaks fluent French, she will speak French. Now he never does anything like, you know, changes her physically, just emotionally, you know, because he thinks that's creepy. Despite the description I just told you is actually written by a woman, the screenplay is written by Zoe Kazan, which is interesting to me because this whole idea of a man creating a woman out of nothing is kind of a very masculine idea to me, really. It seems like a movie that would be written by men. It's not very sexual, you know, there's certain sexual elements. She takes off her underwear at one point. She supposedly is good at blowjobs, but we never really get into their sex life, which I assume they're having one, but he never, like, says, you know, Ruby was really horny tonight or something like that. That just doesn't happen. So I think, you know, and not to say that I think women are less sexual or something, but I feel like if a guy were to write it, that would be a major part of it. For that, it's a different take. However, this film kind of reeks of being a forgettable indie film you find in the dollar bin 10 years from now, and you're like, I've never heard of Ruby Sparks, what is this? And, you know, you're like, oh, Paul Dano's the lead, that's so weird. The second act is really strong. The first act, they don't set up Paul Dano's character well enough. I think Paul Dano actually does a pretty decent performance. I'd never really seen him do a lead before. He was good at playing a writer. You bring that neurotic, kind of nervous quality to the role. They don't develop his character well enough being alone, for me at least. I thought they could have spent a little more time on his loneliness and really develop why he would have the need to write about this girl so much and then she would suddenly appear, you know, why he would love that and be so interested in that. And I don't think they really set him up for the second act. I actually think when Zoe Kazan comes in as Ruby, that really rejuvenates the film, and it has some of the better romantic comedy stuff I've seen in a while. It had a lot of charisma. They're actually dating in real life. They're very cute together. It really does have kind of a fun, goofy energy in the second act. A lot of people in the theater were laughing. Even people you didn't expect to laugh would laugh at a lot of that stuff. But then it kind of takes the typical third act nosedive of like being overly serious when he reveals like to her that he knows that how he can do it and how he sees problems with these choices he's having. It doesn't, to me, it just becomes like bogged down by being like a typical movie third act, like should be like a consequence, like very Catholic, like, you know, nothing can go without a consequence, I guess. It has a nice supporting cast with Elliot Gould, Steve Coogan, Annette Bening, who looked enough like Catherine O'Hara that at first I thought it was Catherine O'Hara, but it's really Annette Bening. And Antonio Banderas, who I liked as well. I think you would be surprised how much this film would actually win you over if you saw it, because there are certain moments where you really start to think like, hey, this could really turn out to be a good movie. It doesn't. So if you have seen Ruby Sparks and you would like to talk about it, then comment below in the comments, and subscribe if you would like to.